Welcome to Convergence to Pixels, otherwise known as ConvergenceTP. ConvergenceTP is the market leader for interfacing text from your IP appliances into your video surveillance system. I'd like to make one suggestion before we jump into this video, just to make sure you get the best quality video during this presentation. If you could look at the bottom of your screen, you have a settings in your YouTube for setting the quality of the video. If you select 720p, you'll find your video will be much cleaner and won't have the grainy effect. I think a lot of times they default to 760 or so, and you really want to be at 720p if at all possible. Today's video will be on our ATM integration into the very powerful OnSSI Ocularis platform. The Ocularis platform is an ideal platform for just this type of integration. Okay, before we jump right into the demonstration, I have a couple slides I'd like to go over that better explain where the ConvergenceTP product fits within the customer enterprise. On the left-hand side of the screen here, you'll see a number of IP appliances listed. At the center of the screen is the ConvergenceTP event streaming engine. The event streaming engine is responsible for accepting all of these dissimilar IP packets and converting them into one homogeneous database, which is then sent and used with the VMS system. Today's discussion we will be talking about ATM transactions. This next slide is a rudimentary drawing of an ATM system, and at the top here you'll see the actual ATM machine, some network infrastructure, and then the VMS here at the bottom. When there's an ATM transaction, that data is sent through the network, and a copy of it is then sent to the ConvergenceTP product. ConvergenceTP then takes that text and creates a access compliant camera stream, which then presents that textual information as a camera to the VMS system, in this case OnSSI. Because the information is presented in the form of a camera stream, it passes seamlessly through the system and takes full advantage of all the features that are available within the OnSSI platform. Okay, let's jump right into the demo portion of this video. On the left-hand side of the screen here is your standard OnSSI Ocularis client. And within that, in this quad split, are 4 ConvergenceTP cameras. These are software cameras that I like to use for these type of demonstrations, because within a software camera I could set up a splash screen to simulate any environment I'm looking for. In this case, it would be an ATM environment at a bank. This one screen in the top right is our information screen, and that is where we'll be streaming information from the ATM simulator we have here. This is our own simulator. It's a limited featured simulator. On an actual ATM machine there'd be quite a few other transactions I could bring up for you and be able to search on, but for this demonstration we're going to use our ConvergenceTP simulator. Okay, so I'm going to make a few withdrawals here. Here's a $100 withdrawal. And what I'm doing is creating content for the next portion of this video where we're going to actually do some searching. Here you can see the transaction I just did. It's going to go away. There's a 10-second dwell time set for this particular demonstration. I could set that dwell time to be anything I want for the traffic that we stream to the screen here. So let me do a few transactions, so we have some material to search on in the next portion of the video. And when we get to the next portion, I'll be able to search on any piece of this text that is being sent over to the VMS system, which is very powerful. That's really where the value add for convergence comes in. We tie both of these appliances together, and so that you could leverage the text from the ATM traffic to pull up the exact video and surrounding cameras of that particular transaction. So let me get a couple more transactions in here, and then we'll get right over and do the hypermedia search tool. Okay, that gives us a few transactions to search on, and now let's go over and see some of the power of the hypermedia search engine. Okay, we're finally here. Let me introduce the hypermedia search engine. ConvergenceTP hypermedia search engine is shown here on the left, and the ConvergenceTP video browser is shown here on the right. The video browser is our interface into the recording server to get the video from OnSSI. Okay, let's log in and begin to break out some of the features of the hypermedia tool, which is really where the value add comes, where ConvergenceTP bridges the gap between these two IP appliances and really makes them one unified system. So what were we working on? We were working on ATM, so I'll go to my search type. I have a number of IP appliances here. I'm going to select the ATM. I'm not going to talk about parameters just yet. And down here I could set time and date to anything I'd like as far as the range of time and dates I want to search through. Spreadsheet is a really nice new tool we're introducing, and I'll talk about that in a little bit. But let's just hit list for now and bring up the transactions. Now when I hit list, the most recent transaction is brought up to the top of the list. So the last transaction we did, let's see what it was. Well, if I remember correctly, it was for $250 and it was a withdrawal. So on the right hand side of the screen, this is the actual information that was written to the recording server. So this is coming from the recording server, and this information over here is being rendered from this thumbnail. So this is coming from the database, and it's bringing up an image of what was in that database. And on the right hand side, this is coming from the recording server. This was written to disk just like all the other video associated with that event. Okay, so we looked at the last transaction. We can look at any transaction we'd like here. One of the nice features is you could do an expand all. Now, if this were not a simulator, there would be a lot more information here from an actual ATM machine. So there's quite a bit not shown here that would normally be in an ATM transaction. So right now, these are the things that we could search on: the card, the user, and the amount, and some variations of that I'll show you in a bit. Now, if we wanted to, we could show just the cameras and leave this thumbnail the way it was. And so now we just brought up the cameras associated with this transaction, but we left this screen alone. We didn't enlarge the thumbnail to full size. And you can see it's still the same image of that transaction being done, coming from the recording server. Alright, in the interest of time, I'm going to move through here. We'll go up and we'll change this up a little bit, and I'll add some search criteria. Let's say we want to search on, we could enter a person's card number if we wish, and I'm going to cheat and look over here and see what the card number is. So I could see the card has a 308 in it, and I'm not going to do the whole thing, so I'll just say contains 308 as one parameter. And let's say I want to boil it down a little further and say the person's name. Well, I happen to know the person's name in question here is Steve, so I'm just going to do a ST. And if I wanted to look even further, amount withdrawn. Again, you would have bank IDs, you would have all kinds of things in the actual transaction, but in our simulator this is what's available. So we'll do a withdrawal, and we could say, let's say greater than, and we'll give it a value of $75, and we'll do our list on that. What this is going to give us, it'll take these criteria and them all together, and the result will be all transactions that were from this card with this person's name on it, and the withdrawal amounts greater than $75. You could have multiple branches here included. There's a wide variety of things you could add to this list, but for now we're going to go with that. So if I expand all, you'll see this was Steve, has the 308 in the card number, and these are so it was $250, $200, $100, and so on. These are all going to be over $75. So I could have done less than $75. I could have done equal to, not equal to. So I mean, there's a wide variety of things I could have done to boil down that search. Now let's talk about our new feature, which is really nice. This is where we start to go well beyond the sum of the two parts here of the surveillance system and the ATM system. Now we're actually creating a new system in loss prevention and analysis tools. So here I could actually create a spreadsheet of all the search criteria that we've gone through, and we could make it quite sophisticated if we wanted to. And if I hit view, we now get a spreadsheet view of that list. And of course the cameras still work from within the spreadsheet, so you could still see the cameras while you're in spreadsheet mode. And So now we have this information. We want to export it to bringing into some analysis tools. We select a download, and what that'll do is it'll take the result of this search and export it in comma-separated format. And at that point, you could use whatever analysis tools you're comfortable with. In this case, it's Excel for my demonstration. And then you could see here, this is an example of just one of the things you could do. This particular example took and did an analysis on withdrawals greater than $50 from between a certain time period, and you could see on certain days of the week was higher than others. And of course, you could do any kind of analysis you'd like once the data has been downloaded into CSV format. All right. Okay, that concludes my very brief demo and overview of our ATM integration into the OnSSI VMS platform. For more information, please feel free to fill out our Contact Us form on our website at www.c2p.com, and please specify if you're interested in your own personalized webinar for any ATM specific questions you may want to have us demo. And for more information on OnSSI, please visit them at www.onsssi.com. All right, thanks.